The Awakening of Terra. The Galactic Conclave had always viewed humanity as an amusing oddity. A species barely 2 centuries into their FTL era, humans occupied a mere 17 systems in the Orion Spur, a negligible footprint in the vast tapestry of interstellar civilization. Their ships were functional but unremarkable, their technology derivative of older races, their military presence symbolic at best. Humans were traders, colonists, and occasionally mercenaries, useful but inconsequential. This assessment persisted for decades, even as Earth scientists worked tirelessly in the shadows of Jupiter's moons, even as their quantum laboratories unraveled secrets the older races had missed, even as their military architects designed vessels unlike anything the galaxy had seen. On the 312th cycle of the Galactic Standard Year 4782, the Valthran Empire, a dominant power controlling over 300 systems, made a critical miscalculation. The mining outpost on Proxima Centauri VI was small, housing just under 2,000 human colonists. The Valthran considered it expendable, a minor obstacle in their path to secure the neutronium deposits beneath the planet's crust. Their war fleet arrived without warning, without declaration, without mercy. The outpost's destruction took 17 minutes. The Valthran commander, Sub-Hierarch Kalzer, transmitted footage of the devastation to Earth's government as a courtesy, a demonstration of what resistance would bring. The Conclave had seen this pattern before, a show of force, followed by negotiations where the weaker species surrendered rights to disputed territories. Standard protocol for maintaining the galactic hierarchy. Earth's response was silence. For 3 weeks, no transmission, no diplomatic overture, no begging for terms. The Conclave representatives urged humanity to be reasonable, to understand their place in the order of things. The Valthran prepared terms of surrender, generous by their standards. The galaxy watched and waited. Then, on the 22nd day, a single ship emerged from Earth's solar system. The sensors of every advanced race detected its arrival at the full threshold, but none could classify what they were seeing. It moved with impossible speed, its drive signature unlike any known configuration. The vessel was massive, nearly 3 kilometers in length, with a hull that seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. No elegant curves like the Ellerin ships, no crystalline structures like the Nexeri vessels. This was a titan of sharp angles and brutal purpose. The Terran Confederation ship Thunderchild had arrived. The Valthran detection systems registered the anomaly first, triggering automated defense protocols. A dozen cruisers moved to intercept, weapons charging. The Thunderchild transmitted on all frequencies, in all known languages, a message of terrifying simplicity. We are humanity. You have slaughtered our people. There will be consequences. In the conclave chambers, representatives frantically called for restraint. The Ellerin ambassador, Shilveri Nothal, whose species had guided galactic politics for millennia, sent urgent communiques to both parties. The Valthran must stand down. The humans must negotiate. Order must be maintained. But the Valthran did not stand down. They had conquered 80 species, broken a dozen empires. One human ship, no matter how unusual, posed no threat to their battle-tested armada. The Thunderchild's first action was not an attack, but a demonstration. The pinpoint gravitational distortion, technology thought impossible by conclave physicists, collapsed the uninhabited moon orbiting Proxima Centauri VI. Not destroyed, collapsed, compressed to 1/10 of its size in seconds, the resulting energy wave harmlessly directed away from the planet. The Valthran commander demanded the alien vessel's surrender. The Thunderchild responded by activating what human engineers had designated the Excalibur Array. No energy weapons, no plasma torpedoes, nothing recognizable to conclave military analysts. Instead, microscopic wormholes opened within the Valthran ship's drive cores, connecting them briefly to a point near Sol's photosphere. Solar plasma flashed through these quantum bridges, vaporizing the Valthran cruisers from the inside out. 8 vessels, each with crews of thousands, vanished in less than 30 seconds. The remaining Valthran ships broke formation, retreating to defensive positions. Too late, they realized the threat they faced. The Thunderchild pursued, not with the lumbering pace expected of a vessel its size, but with acceleration that defied known physics. Its point defense systems intercepted every projectile, every energy beam, every desperate countermeasure. In the conclave chambers, silence fell as the feed showed the Valthran flagship, the Pride of Kalthur, a vessel that had survived 3 interstellar wars, torn apart by forces that conclave scientists couldn't even identify. Not explosions, the massive ship simply came apart along molecular seams, disassembled by unseen hands. The battle lasted 72 minutes. Not a single Valthran vessel survived. The Thunderchild, untouched, transmitted a final message before departing the system. The people of Earth extend greetings to the Galactic Conclave. We regret that circumstances have forced this introduction. We are prepared to take our place among the stars. We are not prepared to be victims. Remember Proxima Centauri. In the aftermath, the conclave erupted into chaos. How had this happened? How had the humans concealed such technology? What else were they hiding? Emergency sessions convened, diplomatic channels overloaded with traffic, military commands across a dozen species went to high alert. The Nexeri, a silicon-based life form known for their analytical capabilities, presented the first comprehensive assessment. We have grievously underestimated the human capacity for technological advancement. Their apparent backwardness was deliberate misdirection. While we observed their conventional ships and colonies, they were developing technologies that surpass our theoretical understanding. The vessel designated Thunderchild represents capabilities we believed were centuries beyond any known race. The Ellerin ambassador silenced the chamber with a simple question: and if this is one ship, what might their fleet become? The humans answered that question 3 days later. Quantum displacement drives activated simultaneously across 17 systems as vessels emerged from hidden shipyards within gas giants, asteroid fields, and subterranean facilities. Not an armada of thousands like the great powers fielded, but 47 ships of the Thunderchild class, each one capable of challenging an entire conventional fleet. The Valthran Empire, for the first time in 8 centuries, sued for peace. They offered reparations, territory, technology. Anything to avoid the wrath of these vessels that made mockery of their defenses. The Conclave, still reeling, established emergency protocols for human contact. And in Earth's Jovian Command Center, Admiral Helena Chen watched the galaxy's panic with grim satisfaction. Humanity had revealed only a fraction of their capabilities, enough to secure their safety, not enough to show their full hand. The real fleet, the dark ships and world breakers, remained hidden, a contingency against future threats. "Send the diplomatic corps," she ordered. "It's time to negotiate from a position of strength." Across the stars, the balance of power had shifted irrevocably. Humanity had awakened, and the galaxy trembled. The reckoning. The wreckage of the Valthran battle fleet drifted through the Proxima Centauri system, a monument to hubris and miscalculation. Salvage teams from a dozen species swarmed the debris, seeking insights into the weapons that had so effortlessly dismantled one of the galaxy's premier military forces. They found nothing useful. The Thunderchild's attacks had been so precise, so fundamental in their disruption, that little evidence remained of how they functioned. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Conclave, the Valthran representative stood before his peers, his once proud posture diminished. The Empire had existed for 12,000 years, conquered 83 species, and survived conflicts that had extinguished entire civilizations. Now they sued for peace with a newcomer race they had dismissed as insignificant merely months earlier. The Valthran Empire recognizes the sovereignty of all human-claimed systems, the representative stated, his voice subdued. "We offer reparations for the tragedy at Proxima Centauri VI and pledge non-aggression for 1,000 standard cycles." The human delegate, Ambassador Sarah Okafor, acknowledged the terms with unsettling calm. The Terran Confederation accepts your reparations and recognition. We have no interest in conquest or retribution beyond justice for our lost colony. However, understand that any future aggression will be met with irreversible consequences. The subtext was clear to everyone present. The humans could have demanded far more. They could have dismantled the Valfran Empire entirely. Their restraint was not mercy, it was pragmatism. They didn't want territory or subjugation. They wanted recognition and to be left alone. This realization terrified the Conclave more than any show of force. In the weeks that followed, diplomatic missions from every major power arrived at Earth. The Ellerin offered technology exchanges. The Nexeri proposed research partnerships. The Zeth Dominion suggested mutual defense pacts. Behind these overtures lay desperate attempts to understand what humanity had become, and what they might become next. The humans engaged politely but revealed little. Their ships, now visible at the borders of their territory, stood as silent sentinels. They didn't patrol aggressively or violate Conclave protocols. They simply existed, their capabilities known but not fully understood, a deterrent beyond anything conventional military doctrine could address. In her office orbiting Jupiter, Admiral Helena Chen reviewed the latest intelligence with her staff. The galactic powers were reacting exactly as predicted. First shock, then fear, now cautious attempts at alliance. They're forming coalitions, noted Strategic Director Kazuo Tamura, highlighting movement patterns of non-human fleets. The Ellerin and Nexari have begun joint exercises near the Denov sector. The Zeth and Morrigan Confederacy are sharing defense grids. Chen nodded. As expected, they fear us individually, so they unite. Psychology is consistent across sentient species. Should we be concerned? Asked Communications Director Immerse. No, Chen replied, studying the holographic display. Let them find comfort in numbers. It changes nothing. What the galactic powers didn't understand, what Chen had no intention of revealing, was that the Thunderchild and its sister ships represented only the first phase of Earth's defense strategy. The real deterrent lay in technologies that violated what other species considered fundamental laws of physics. Deep within Mercury's crust, quantum entanglement arrays monitored every inhabited system within 500 light-years. In the Oort cloud, automated factories produced microscopic probes that traveled between stars without ships to carry them. And beneath Europa's ice, the Prometheus project had achieved what the Conclave's scientists insisted was impossible: controlled manipulation of space-time at the Planck level. Humanity hadn't just built better weapons, they had discovered a new layer of physical reality, one that rendered conventional defenses obsolete. The Valthran are complying with all terms, reported Intelligence Director Marcus O'Keefe. Their military has withdrawn from 3 disputed territories beyond our space. They're making a show of demilitarization. And the others? Chen asked. Watching and waiting. The Zeth have increased production of their Dreadnought-class vessels by 300%. The Ellerin are retrofitting their entire fleet with new shield configurations. They think our weapons are some variant of quantum disruptors. Chen allowed herself a small smile. Let them build. Let them adapt to what they think they know. In truth, humanity had no desire for galactic dominance. Earth's strategy, developed over decades of observing alien civilizations, was simple: become too dangerous to attack, too valuable to isolate, and too unpredictable to manipulate. The demonstration at Proxima Centauri had established the first condition. Now came the more delicate work of integration. 6 months after the Valthran incident, humanity revealed another facet of their capabilities, not destructive, but transformative. Medical teams arrived at worlds suffering from plagues that had resisted treatment for generations. Environmental engineers deployed on planets damaged by industrial exploitation. Quantum communication nodes established instantaneous links between previously isolated systems. These gestures weren't charity. They were calculated steps to make humanity indispensable to the galactic community, to ensure that any future attempt to isolate Earth would damage the attackers as much as the humans. In the conclave chambers, the mood shifted gradually from fear to cautious acceptance. The humans were dangerous, yes, but they were also contributing. Their technology, selectively shared, solved problems that had plagued established species for millennia. Their diplomatic course proved reasonable, even accommodating on non-security matters. Yet the shadow of the Thunderchild and its siblings never fully receded from the collective consciousness of the conclave. The questions remained. What else could the humans do? What were they holding back? And what would provoke them to full retaliation? One bold Zeth commander decided to test these boundaries. Under orders from his government's militant faction, he led a covert operation to capture a human research outpost in the HD 40,307 system. The mission was executed flawlessly. 20 Zeth commandos infiltrated the facility, subdued the minimal security presence, and secured the scientific data cores. No human casualties, no witnesses, no trail leading back to the Zeth Dominion. 3 days later, every military installation in the Zeth home system received the same message, delivered simultaneously through systems that should have been isolated and secure. We know what you did. Return what you took. You have one standard day. No signature, no threat of consequences, no room for negotiation. The Zeth leadership, panicked, launched an investigation. How had the humans discovered the operation? How had they penetrated the Dominion's most secure networks? The stolen data was returned within hours, accompanied by formal apologies and the sacrifice of the commander who had ordered the operation. The humans acknowledged the return with a terse message. Incident closed. This exchange, though hidden from public knowledge, circulated among the highest levels of every major power. The implications were staggering. Humanity's surveillance capabilities extended far beyond what should have been possible. They hadn't just tracked the physical operation. They had identified its architects and targeted them specifically. In her Jupiter Command Center, Admiral Chen reviewed the Zeth incident report with satisfaction. The message has been received, she noted. No retaliation needed. They'll be more careful next time, Director Tamara observed. There won't be a next time, Chen replied. Not from the Zeth, not for decades. We've established the pattern. We detect everything. We respond precisely. We show restraint but not weakness. The strategy worked. Over the following years, incursions into human space dropped to zero. Trade agreements flourished. Cultural exchanges began, tentatively at first, then with growing enthusiasm as alien societies discovered the diversity of human expression. The weapons that had secured humanity's place remained vigilant but unused. In a private session of the Conclave's Security Council, the Ellerin ambassador summarized what had become the consensus view. The humans are not conquerors. They are not expansionists. They are guardians of themselves, their principles, their independence. So long as these remain unthreatened, they offer partnership rather than dominance, but cross their boundaries. He paused, the memory of the Volthran fleet's destruction still vivid. Cross their boundaries, and they become something else entirely. On the 5th anniversary of what historians now call the Proxima demonstration, Admiral Chen stood before Earth's Unified Defense Council. The chamber, buried deep beneath the Atlantic seabed, held the 200 individuals responsible for humanity's security strategy. The doctrine has succeeded, she reported. Phase 1 is complete. We are acknowledged as a power that cannot be conquered. Phase 2, integration without vulnerability, proceeds ahead of schedule. We have established 17 critical technology dependencies across major civilizations. And Phase 3? Asked the council chair. Chen's expression remained neutral. Contingency protocols remain in place. The Dark Fleet maintains readiness. The Horizon Array can be activated within 3 minutes of a full-spectrum threat assessment. But I do not anticipate needing these measures within our lifetimes. The truth, known only to those in that room, was that humanity's revealed capabilities were merely the surface of what they had developed. The real power, the technologies that could reshape or end civilizations, remained hidden, a final insurance policy against extinction. As the council session concluded, Chen paused at the observation port overlooking the vast underwater complex. Engineers were completing the newest Thunderchild-class vessel, its impossibly dark hull seeming to bend the artificial light around it. She reflected on how quickly humanity had adapted once they understood the true nature of the cosmos, not just the physics that other races had discovered, but the deeper layers, the quantum foam from which reality emerged. Earth had been fortunate. Their late arrival to the galactic stage had allowed them to approach universal laws without the preconceptions that limited older civilizations. The galaxy would never know how close humanity had come to destruction. Before the Thunderchild, before the quantum revelations, Earth had been genuinely vulnerable. Now, that vulnerability was a carefully maintained illusion, a mask worn to prevent the full extent of human capabilities from triggering a coalition born of existential fear. Peace through controlled revelation, security through calculated restraint. These were the principles that would guide humanity's place among the stars. Outside Earth's territory, the galaxy continued its ancient cycles of alliance and rivalry, commerce and cultural exchange. But beneath every diplomatic overture, every trade agreement, every cultural celebration lay the unspoken knowledge. Humanity was watching, humanity was capable of the unimaginable, and humanity remembered its dead. This was the new order of things, not human dominance, but human presence, an equilibrium built not on conquest, but on the certainty that some lines could never be crossed again. The stars had gained new custodians, and the galaxy was forever changed.